Oh man, you just busted out on that one.
Yeah.
Welcome to Straight Red
Pew,
Card.
pew.
Hey,
we were
Derek.
still talking about Superman, right?
I know we were talking about Superman. Oh, hey, shit! Did you see that whole Alec Baldwin shooting the fucking camera girl thing?
Yep.
And then it went through the camera girl, and then got the director behind it, assistant directors. The fuck is up with that? Can't people fucking open the fucking gun and spin the goddamn gun around and see what's in it before they?
Of recent news about it is that the gun was previously used for live test shooting, just shooting.
Okay, yeah, that's not smart. That's not smart. But check it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of issues coming from the crew about how the entire operation's being run, and it'll be interesting to see what comes about it over the next couple weeks here. I mean, terrible scenario that occurred.
It is.
I feel absolutely awful for the woman who passed and her family.
Yep.
I feel bad. I feel awful for the director who got injured by the shot as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, some heads are going to roll here. It's going to be interesting to see whose heads are going to roll, and with Baldwin being the producer, curious to see how if anything's going to happen to him.
Well, he's as a producer, he's ultimately responsible.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, listen, if you haven't figured out that Alec Baldwin, while being a very good actor, is an asshole, if you haven't figured that out yet, shouldn't be. I don't know. It's not news. It's not news. He's a dumbass too. All right, but great actor. Just a real shit dick to work with. Just a fucking arrogant prick. And then this. So, hey, dude, check the fucking goddamn, just spin it around and clear the fucking holes. How hard is that? All right.
And regardless if it's a prop gun, don't aim it at somebody and pull the trigger.
And don't fucking assume that after motherfuckers took it out and did practice shooting with it with real bullets, that they're not real bullets in it. Never assume that whenever you pick up a weapon, ever, that when you point it at somebody, it's not going to hurt them when you pull the trigger when you haven't checked. Check. Jesus,
in fairness, they have an armor on site. She should have had that all in check.
Dude, it doesn't take a genius.
Don't aim it at some. Well, here's the thing though. Let's say if he didn't aim it at her and pull the trigger during a scene, he would have aimed it at somebody else and pulled the trigger. It would still have happened. I mean,
listen, if you open up the chamber and look at it, the difference between blanks, if you empty it and you look at them, the difference between blanks and a real bullet are obvious. They're obvious. So this is not something that should
never fired either. So I don't know.
That should have happened. Well, I'm an Army kid.
There you go.
So, I know guns a little bit, not a lot, but I know some of my guns. And this is not even a gun I should know, because this is a gun that is a gun I would never owned, because it goes back. It goes back. It's sort of a old West gun.
So I said 100 years old.
Yes, exactly. Okay, you're right. You're right. 100 years old. Right. It's an old gun, but still, I mean, checking a gun is not that hard to do. And I don't know how lazy or thoughtless you can be. A weapon that's a real weapon, even if it's called a prop, everybody knows it's still a real weapon. So you got to make sure, because we lost Brendan Lee the same way, right? So now we're just killing other people because we're careless. This is just, it's insane to me that this happened again. But anyhow, on the less serious side of things,
let's get back to the show.
Yes, let's get back to the show. And we had a question. Who are your top 5 American managers currently? Top 5. And I thought maybe we should do top 5 and give an honorable mention as well, because it's kind of tight. It's a tight thing up there. I guess we'll start with our honorable mentions. And my honorable mention was Jim Curtin from Philadelphia Union.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And I would like to change my honorable mention to that.
That's fine.
I love Jim. I love Jim. He's a great guy from Chicago Fire. and then doing great with the Union, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that would have been a great one, and would love to have seen him get brought up into the fold of at least the assistants. Get some looks and go from there.
And the thing about this question is that I'm not sure if it's framed as in which one of them is going to be the next U.S. men's national team manager, but I got the feeling that's what the implication of the question was. And I just got to tell everybody that's not happening anytime soon, unless Gregg just starts losing and losing and losing. Gregg's here to stay. But if we're looking like after the next World Cup or whatever, and we're looking for, yes, okay, that's part of the conversation. And right now, yeah, Jim Curtins gets an honorable mention. He's not in the top 5, but he's somebody I would seriously look at and consider what he's done with the Union. And yeah, it took him a while to get there, but now that he's gotten there, using their youth development system, bringing those young players up and playing them. Yes, you got to give him credit for that. Who did you have at number 5?
Well, I'll mention my honorable mention, my actual one. I had listed Peter Vermes.
Yeah, I like Peter Vermes, but Kansas City's doing fine. But
you're always gonna have ups and downs. There's gonna be ups and downs, but he's done great with Kansas City over his history.
I'm not
sure. They're always contender.
I know. I'm not sure I really like his playing style as it lines up for. But again, he didn't say for the U.S. men's national team. But if this were about the U.S. men's national team, I don't know. Vermes is a little meh for me as far.
So
as
I assumed this was going to be for the U.S. national team, but regardless, this takes me into my number 5 to an extent, though, because you had mentioned playing style, and my number 5's playing style is not for everybody either. We're dealing with it on a week-in basis here. But I do have Berhalter as my number 5, and the reason I have him as my number 5 is because even though, quite frankly, despite his mediocre coaching career as a whole. That's being nice. But he's managed a solid record for the United States national team so far during his tenure. They've not always been pretty. Quite frankly, most of them haven't been pretty. Yep. But he's managed a 28-5-7. 7 losses, 5 draws, 28 wins. That's nothing to sneeze at. But the question I had, and this is why I had flip-flopped initially before we started recording this, I was like, do I have him as my honorable mention or not? Because the big question is, if you substitute him out for anybody that we're going to be mentioning here in a second, would they still have a similar record? Would they still have a top record like that too, with the players that we have? And I would have to say the answer is probably going to be yes.
I think so, and that's why Gregg didn't even make any of my spots.
I'm giving him enough benefit of the doubt, but I'm giving him enough bonus points here just because he's. Despite the fact that they've been ugly results for the most part, he's managed to grind them out. And again, nothing to sneeze at, but then again, nothing really to write home to because you have all these talented players and there have been so many ugly games.
Yeah, nope. There have been, and that's why he's not going to make my group. I picked Brian Schmetzer, excuse me, for my number 5 from Seattle because he's just doing it on the regular. He's doing it on the regular in MLS, and he's doing it on the regular, missing some players at times that you thought would really hurt them. It hasn't. They've been missing Morris forever. Hasn't hurt them. They're still top of the table out west. And I mean, the guy's just consistent. What can I say? I can't take anything away from him. So my 5 would be Schmetzer. As for Gregg, I don't think Gregg's as good as any of the managers that we're just about to talk to. I think Gregg's an overthinker, and
absolutely is an overthinker. We bring it up every podcast.
Yeah, but these guys are more like they know what they want to do. They
feel it. They know what they're going for. Yeah.
No, and none of them overthink. And that's easy to do when you're managing a club team. I get it versus the national team, but even when
Gregg, and I don't know if that's necessarily true. Because with the club team, you've always got to go out and find an upgrade to a piece here. You got to transfer this. You got to do that. Whereas the national team, you have your player pool and you're responsible for just looking at the players you have, figuring out how best to utilize them and going from there. You're not actively going out and you're not searching for another piece unless it's just another U.S. national player. So I
Yeah.
don't know if it's that much more that difficult in that sense. What's difficult is you're playing against higher opposition for the most part.
Well, it's not just that. It's just how little time you have to integrate any system.
Sure, and that brings me to my point is as far as putting them in a situation that benefits them instead of saying, "Hey, this is what I want to see you do. Go out there and do it."
Yeah,
because you don't have that time. You with all these windows that we're seeing here, he lost a year and a half. Absolutely sucks.
yeah.
He lost a year and a half. That hurts, especially with such a young team. But it happened, and now we're in a position where we have a window of say 7 days, and he's got to get these players on the pitch, get results, move on to the next game. So you can't overthink it. You have to just say, "Well, I've got these great players that can do this. Let's play that type of thing. Let's take my idea and mold it in there a little bit."
So before I move to my number 4, because you did number 5 first, I just want to say, everybody out there, I would recommend that you tweet Stu Holden and ask him, since he is a co-owner of Mallorca, why Hoppy's not playing and not even making the bench. I want to know, Stu, why isn't Hoppy playing? Why isn't he even making the bench? What's really going on? Can we get some transparency? So I'll move on to my number 4.
Again, I suspect he'll tote the line that's being broadcasted out there that he's injured. He picked up a knock in a game prior to coming to the United States national team.
Okay, but Hoppy was not on the injury list for Mallorca. Mallorca never said that he was injured. Just his agent. That's it. Just his agent.
Oh,
it's weird.
That's strange.
And our sources tell us he's not injured. So it's strange. It's weird shit in Mallorca. And you, Stu, you are a co-owner of the team. Give us some info. Fill us in. I know you're not a majority owner of the team. You're a small piece of the pie. But God, come on, dude. Give us some info. All right. I'm going to give you my number 4. And it is Bruce Arena. What Bruce Arena has done at the Revs this year with players that no one considered in any way as top of the line, except for Turner. He's playing Farrell, Kessler, Polster, McNamara, Jones, Jonathan Bell, Bunbury. I mean, he regular starts. Half his lineup are American players. 6 players sometimes. Players that haven't really accomplished much until Bruce arrived. And here we are. Bruce is on top of the East, and he's proven it again. He's a master manager. You give him enough time, he's a master manager. I know what he did. I understand it. I know we fucked up. We lost against Trinidad and Tobago, but he's still a fucking master. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, he understands the American player. He understands the MLS as a whole. So
yeah, backwards and forwards.
He knows exactly what's going to be successful, what's going to get the results. Now, mind you, he's getting hella good results for the pieces he has, and maybe the pieces he had were just mismanaged prior. But regardless, he's doing a good job this year. And I don't have him on my list because, quite frankly, I looked at this as a list for the United States men's national team, and I could not imagine Arena coming back up for another stint.
Yeah.
So I didn't even contemplate him, in all honesty.
Well, he replaced one of the worst managers that ever managed in MLS, Brad Friedel. One of the worst. Everyone on his team, all of his players hated him. All of them. And he was a curse on that team. He was a horrible manager. This is why a lot of goalkeepers don't make good managers, apparently. Because you know how goalkeepers get when they get scored on. You made a mistake, made me look bad, you fucking center back piece of shit. You know how that is. That's kind of how it was when he was manager. All right. So who do you have it for?
I got Bob Bradley.
I'd like Bob. I really love Bob, but right now he's kind of down on his luck.
Whatever.
I mean, listen, I'd agree with you. If we're talking U.S. men's national team, Bob would be up where you're saying he is. But that's now. We approached it totally two different ways. You were like for U.S. men's national team, and I'm like, just who are the best five guys right now, this instant. You're like, oh, well, I'm going to take it.
See, now I took the quote unquote right now, or as they are now, as a contention that we're not talking about past managers, top, like when we did like the top, what the hell did we do with Simon?
Who knows?
Yeah, we did top. We did top something.
Wasted. Who knows?
Yeah, too many brain cells lost since then. Even but we did a top thing there, and obviously it was top captains, top five captains.
Yeah,
and we were talking. Some of them were talking about like some of the older captains, even prior to '94 and stuff like that were beyond my time.
Simon was just pulling shit out of his ass.
And that was fun.
Yeah,
but yeah, so that's why I took the as they are now as a okay. Well, we're talking about U.S. men's national team. The top options for U.S. men's national team American coaches right now. And that's why that's the list I'm going with.
Yeah, so I looked at it and went, no, I know he's probably implying that, but I'm just going to give him the best five. So
you do,
regardless. So
we're just giving everybody two different lists.
That's right. All right,
and there may be some mixing up here.
There could be. Oh, there's definitely going to be.
Yeah.
That's you.
I'm number 3.
Number 3. Yeah.
I've got Hugo Perez.
Dude, that's a good pick.
Yeah.
Hugo Perez has done some great shit at El Salvador.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. And so that's a great pick. It didn't even really register for me because he's at El Salvador right now.
I understand.
Yep. Yeah. Ex-US men's national team legend.
Mm-hmm.
Good pick, Brett. But I picked David Wagner.
Okay.
I know he's at Young Boys, but dude, when he was in the Premier League, not only did he get the team promoted to the Premier League, he got them holding on for a season and staying in the Premier League. Now, okay, yes, down the line, shit was looking bad and they let him go. And then he had to take Schalke, which is it's a shadow of its former self, and they started losing and he got out of there or they fired him. And now he's at Young Boys, and I still think he's a top candidate.
Honestly, I didn't even think of him. So we flip flopped third places for people we didn't think about.
Yeah.
I don't know why he didn't cross my mind.
Well, that's because it's pronounced David Wagner.
Wagner.
Is
that my German speaking of the week right there? Saying Wagner.
Yeah, I don't have one for tonight, so you're scot free.
You fucked up today.
I mean, I could make one up, but I'm probably not
a chance of fucking shit up then.
Yeah, I know. I need to think about it a little longer. I'm number 2. Yes.
Yep.
Pellegrino Matarazzo. I know that Stuttgart are in 13th right now, but last season he got them in the top 10 in the Bundesliga, and they currently, I know they sit 13th, but they're going to probably finish 9th or 10th again this season. They're a good team, and he's a good manager.
Yeah. I've got Pellegrino as well, my number 2.
All right, we got the same.
He took over at Stuttgart, got them promoted, and consistently has kept them at a mid-table team in Bundesliga, which is a hell of an accomplishment.
Yeah, and he's like unlike David Wagner, he was born in the United States, grew up in the United States. So, I mean, not that David Wagner's not American. He played for the U.S. national team, but he was born in Germany, let's be honest. So, this is great to see a guy who grew up in the United States, took a chance, went to Europe, played some low-level ball, and now here he is as a manager, worked his ass up the system. Whereas David Wagner's always been in Germany, so he had kind of a head start on Matarazzo. And I think he's surpassed Wagner at this point. So, great. I'm glad we got one that's the same.
Sounds like we're going to have 2 the same, actually.
Yeah, we are. Jesse Marsh.
Oh.
number one.
No, that's what I want. Jason Christ.
Oh God. That guy's career just
Dude.
Christ's career
I
is
brought
just,
this up. I brought this up recently to somebody else. It was fascinating because when he was at Real Salt Lake, we were all hailing him as the next men's national team manager at some point. He was doing such a great job, very offensive minded. And then after he left Real Salt Lake, it just, took a nosedive ever since.
big time nose drive. God, I know he was so good at RSL, and they look so, I don't know, compact, and everybody knew what their role was. And
Perfect storm.
Jesus, he has just fallen off a cliff. And I just don't know if he's overthinking it, but then his roster buildup for the Olympics was just disastrous. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, let's not rehash that.
Yeah,
travesty.
we won't do that again.
Let's avoid that.
Yeah, we won't do that. So did you watch any of that South Korean show? What's it called again?
Squid Game.
Squid Game. Did you watch any of that yet?
No, I was up in Michigan all weekend, so I didn't have much time to do just about anything actually.
Makes sense. Barely jerk off. No time for that either. So
I'm gonna sign on to a VPN, so I'm not using my father-in-law's Wi-Fi.
Well, Jesus, what kind of porn are you watching, dude? I mean, most of that's fairly neutral. I mean, fairly common.
I could just see him going through the history, like Squid Game. What the fuck?
I think he would figure out Squid Game. It'd be more like
tentacle porn.
Pornhub, tentacle porn. Yeah. Weird. Oh, yeah.
We were told to watch Squid Game. No.
I thought I could find it on X Hamster. All right. Didn't work out. Also, I'm really excited about the Get Back series with the Beatles. So I mentioned that earlier. And then Dune. Dune's coming out now.
It's already out.
I know. And it's like, it can't possibly be more confusing than the Dune movie that came out in the 80s. So I'm looking forward to a more concise show.
So from what I hear, they stick to the material pretty damn well.
Mm-hmm.
But a good chunk of the first movie here, or first segment of this movie, because from what I understand, it's supposed to be at least 2, maybe 3. I think 2. But the first a good chunk of the first segment is a little slow, which, quite frankly, just tells me, for the most part, would normally tell me that it's character development. You actually get to see people react and act, whereas like it was so choppy and really fast paced in the original.
But it was also choppy and fast paced and slow at the same time.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Like it didn't move along. It was horrible.
Hey, Sting's knife fight was phenomenal.
Well, yeah, Sting's just phenomenal. But yeah, I mean,
you just liked his leather pants, didn't you?
I just liked the Police. So I was like, Sting's in a movie. Fuck yeah. And then I was like 14, 15. I can't even remember how old I was. And that I'm watching the movie with my brother, who is at that time, if I'm 15, he's probably 12. We're both like, what the fuck's going on in this movie? Well, I can't follow this. And we're not dumb people. We are actually very smart people. We're like, I can't follow this shit. I can't follow what is going on in this movie. I watched it later as an older person, and I'm like, okay, I can follow it now.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I never had a problem following it. But then again, it is possible that as a youth that I just watched it for watching's sake and not really following all of the storylines per se.
Yeah.
But I will also say I never had a problem with following The Witcher either, and people bitched about that.
Well, when you're 14 and you're going to another space movie and you love Star Wars, you're like, okay, this shit's going to be good too. And it's going to be easy to follow. No, you got to pay attention in Dune. Dune jumps around. There's lots of different scenes. Man. You got to fucking pay attention to what's going on, or you are going to fucking miss something. And, we were probably out. We left for 3 minutes and got more popcorn or fucking
that'll totally fuck you up. Why would you do such a thing?
or sweet tarts, which ruins the roof of your mouth, and so you leave every movie you watch.
I feel like every sweet tart is laced with razor blades.
It's gotta be, because you have no skin left on the top of your mouth after the fucking movie's over. You're like, shit, was that worth it? Yes.
I think the best part of the popularity of the original Dune movie initially spawned a phenomenal game. Dune 2 it was kind of a Command and Conquer-esque type of strategy game. Oh my god, it was such a fucking good game. I
never played that. I was busy playing Waterloo, or whatever the title was of that, which was, of course, the Battle of Waterloo between Napoleon and Wellington. We're
not talking about the water park in San Diaz, right? Or San Dimas.
No. This was a purely historical.
Bill and Ted's were not part of this, right?
Recreation of the battle.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Yes.
I gotcha.
There was no plateau or what do they call Socrates? Socrates. Yeah. All right. Fuck it. That's the end of this night, folks. It was a lot of fun, as always. Stick with us. There's more to come. There's a big November window coming up. We already gave you our November lineup, so go back and check that out. That's
that roster is coming out here probably in about a week,
and we will have comments about it, and we'll be back when that happens. We'll probably be back before that. I don't know.
Most likely.
Yeah, more than likely. And thank you for liking the show, getting us way past 1.5 now. We're edging towards 1.6. It's been a quick movement, a quick bounce up, and we appreciate everybody who appreciates us. So keep commenting, keep subscribing, keep liking, hit the bell too. Ding. Until the next time on Straight Red Card, good night.